what are some of the common misconceptions that you have seen around DAOs? I think one of the frequent one is like DAOs are not legal, you should not join them. But what are some of the other misconceptions that you have seen in your experience around DAOs?
I have a very different answer to it. So, because I'm pretty sure anyone who goes and Google's misconceptions around DAOs, you will have a whole bunch of things like, oh, DAOs are a scam, it's terrorism, it's fraud, it's whatever, right? Like you'll be put in jail if you do it. Well, you can be technically put in jail if you were to contribute for a DAO that did something really bad. But the thing is that it's all hyped up, and essentially what's happening is DAOs as a phenomenon have been existent only for, I'd say, 4 years properly now, right? Like 2018, up until 2018, there were like very gimmicky experiments that were done. Of course, the DAO, the first DAO that was there, that came up in 2016 itself, but it collapsed, it was hacked. They were still trying to figure out. 2019 onwards, suddenly there was a maturity, right? 2018, 19, 20, 21. Those 4 years, there has been maturity in the industry in terms of what DAOs are supposed to do. And it's still too early because like 4 years is nothing in the course of how we have established traditional legal systems and hierarchies and structures in place. So what ends up happening is that a DAO is not recognized as a legal entity, right? Like most of the DAOs, because they are communities, no one really knows because there are no rules and guidelines in place today around what should it be considered. Should it be considered a company? In a company, you have a owner. The directors of the company are usually responsible for any wrongdoing, right? Like if the company goes bankrupt, the directors are the ones who are answerable. If the company does some scam, the directors are the ones who are questioned. In DAOs, because the ownership is spread, and like you can imagine, there can be 100,000 owners. What are you really going to do if something goes wrong, right? Like, so these structures are undefined right now. And there are ways to navigate it. For example, you can't really interact with real world entities without having a legal structure. So, what some DAOs have done is they go position themselves as a DAO, and then they also open what is known as an LLC, limited liability company, right? Like, and a limited liability company has certain rules that it can't have more than 100 members. So, in that case, they go on and say all the funds that are sitting in the treasury of the DAO, that will be in the bank account, like because you need to convert it to fiat, the bank account is associated to the LLC, and that LLC is a part of, let's say, that LLC is a part of, like it could be in any state. So if you're doing it in US, you could be having a Delaware LLC or a Wyoming LLC, right? Like, and you will have to follow the rules of the LLC, but it's just a way for the DAO to ensure that the fiat side of things are taken care of. And in that case, to set up the LLC, probably you'll have to pick two, three, four core team members who are going to be the founders or the representatives of that LLC, right? Like, so essentially the DAO still exists, but as far as the bank account goes, the liability is on those four people, right? Like, and it's sort of unfair as well because hey, they volunteered to do it, they were asked to do it, or maybe they were the founders and they had no option but to do it, but still the DAO as a collective made the decision, and if something goes wrong, the liability will come completely on it. So if like the treasury was to, like, let's say, get hacked, the liability would be on the four people because they are the representatives on paper, and that is the closest structure that most people. So there, like, it's not like it's as bad as I'm making it sound. Like, you can really have an LLC structure and it works because you have the DAO doing all the structures. The LLC is just for the sake of representation and for the sake of interacting with real world businesses through the fiat route. But it's not like DAOs are illegal. There is nothing that goes and says there have been no examples that go on and say, oh, a DAO, because you are working at a DAO, you're doing something wrong. What ends up happening is you will be getting paid for doing gigs at a DAO. So if you're writing, let's say, a Twitter thread for some DAO that has floated it saying, I'm asking people to write Twitter threads, you're going to get paid $10, $20, $100, $1,000. And you will have to pay taxes for it. So if you skip doing that because there is no guideline, like in companies, taxes get deducted while your salary is getting paid, right? Like in DAOs, because that structure is missing, you will be accountable for taking care of all the right things that need to be done in terms of reporting, taxation, accounting. And if you skip that, you will of course end up in the crossroads of like a lot of queries around why you did it, you didn't report it, which is wrong as well because you didn't really pay taxes on what you made money on. But there's nothing like it's illegal. It's more on the lines of, hey, it's still getting defined, and it's a little ambiguous, it's a little fluid. But there are, I guess, some 8,000 to 9,000 DAOs today in the world, and there are maybe 100,000 people who are working on it, and no one is sitting in a jail. So that's the first thing, and I just wanted to touch base upon it because that actually happens to be the biggest concern for people, that our DAOs illegal. They're absolutely not illegal. It's just that what is the right legal structure is an experiment, and it's a little fluid as a state right now. The best example so far is the LLC route, like have an LLC take care of the bank account that the DAO needs to have, where so DAO can store its crypto in a treasury and they don't need an LLC for it, right? Like it can store it in a wallet. But as far as the fiat side of it goes, they will need a bank account to interact with it. And a bank account can only be opened by a legally recognized entity. So there is, in fact, a lot of movement happening on how DAOs should be recognized, what is the right way, and I think in the next 4, 5, 7 years, a lot of it would become clear. But some other misconceptions also are like, oh, I don't know how to get started in a DAO. I don't think I belong here, right? Like you go see a DAO that is into movie making. That doesn't mean that you have to be a movie maker to be a part of that DAO. If the DAO is into movie making, pretty much there is someone there who's into graphic designing, helping the DAO with the graphic stuff. There's someone who's into coding who's helping the DAO with its website and its technical platforms and whatever software that the DAO is using. There's someone who's into economics who's actually working on stuff. So the first thing that I would want to talk about in misconceptions beyond legality is, don't assume that you can't contribute to a DAO. Pretty much any DAO you go to, you ask people, what can I do? I bring these skill sets. You can define your own scope. If no one in the DAO is talking about why the DAO needs to have a blog, you as a content writer can go in and make a case saying, hey, this blog is going to help us. Do you think I should be owning it? And if you agree, please pay me this much, right? Like, so everyone can contribute to any DAO. The best way to do is start in one DAO. You really don't need skill sets. People in DAOs are still human beings. They are content designers, they are writers, they are authors, they are developers. They are not crypto enthusiasts, like, right? Like, so the second misconception is that DAO is really built of only nerds in crypto. Again, not at all true. Most of the people in DAOs, they also don't understand how crypto works. Like a couple of them do, the core team members do, but it's just as a collective you come together and you want to make stuff happen, right? Like that's the gist of it. The crypto side of it, you can always get a couple of specialists to come and comment and advise you on how it's to be done. You can always build a tokenomics community which is of crypto pros, but there's nothing like that. The third thing is that DAOs do not pay you, right? Like, or DAOs pay you a lot, like both spectrums I have seen. When you go to a DAO, you will not make $1 million because you can write a Twitter thread, but you could make $1 million if you were creative enough to understand what the DAO really needs and align with the vision and propose that, hey, I know of someone who was recently, by Nouns DAO, they were given a grant of some 900,000 plus dollars to get a YouTube channel launched, right? Like on the other day, we were discussing, we have produced more videos than that in our company in the last 2 months, and we have some one person taking care of it. This person or this group of people, they got $900,000 to launch a YouTube channel. So but they were smart enough to identify that it has not been done and that it aligns to what Nouns really wants to do. They showed that they have the relevant skill sets to be able to deliver on it, and they made a case for it, and the DAO agreed because the DAO wants to make it work, right? Like, so you could, like, and you just have to start with small things, $10, $30, $50 tasks. Once you start earning a reputation, you can go make a proposal for $200 million also if you wanted to. But to be able to do that, DAOs are not stupid also. Like the people, that's a collective intelligence, it's a hive mind. People will catch your BS if you're just trying to like fool around. So there are these things. And then it's not like DAOs are just for the sake of it, or it's like ultra rich people trying to, like, just show off their money or do things for the sake of it. Like I know folks from Constitution DAO who wouldn't even qualify in the bracket that you would consider rich. right? Like, but they were there because they had this feeling, this alignment that, oh yeah, we can demonstrate that a community can make stuff happen, right? Like, so we in fact have hosted some of the core team members of Constitution DAO in a couple of our podcasts here at Dowlands, and it's very interesting. The people are very passionate. Some people do work at DAOs and they get paid for it, but they still have a job on the side. And for some people, they have just decided that they want to move full time into it. It's basically your call how comfortable you are with ambiguity. And it is completely possible to make a stable income or a stable livelihood by contributing just at DAOs and having a very solid work life balance. And it's also possible to spend time in like 50 DAOs and make nothing because you are just trying to consume content. Like, so it's like if you are always scrolling through Twitter and not really adding anything, you will just be someone who knows everyone but no one knows you. If you start publishing content, people start noticing you as well, right? Like, they will have opinions of you. And it's the same for DAOs. You could go on and be on the sidelines thinking, oh, maybe I'll do it the next time, maybe I'll do it the next time, maybe I'll do it the next time. And you will just realize the time has passed by and you did nothing. Sometimes the best answer is actually going and saying, hey folks, I'm a designer, or I'm a developer, I'm a music producer, I'm a video artist, I'm an influencer. I really like what you're doing here, and I don't know how I can contribute. Could somebody help me? This simple message in any DAO, you will see there are 10 people who extend their hand saying, hey, we have been looking for something like this. Why don't you come and contribute? Right? Like, so now that brings me also to, it shouldn't be that way. It should be very clear why a DAO exists and what are the opportunities, and which is why there are so many toolings coming up saying like, hey, this is where there is opportunity and so on, but it will still take a while before things start maturing. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think you brought out some very important points. Firstly, around the legalities of it, because that is the main concern that have people have when they think about DAOs. Legal things and the regulatory frameworks and the compliances will follow, because it obviously takes a lot of time, more than what it usually takes for the crypto world to move things around, right? But as you mentioned, there are some frameworks in which DAOs can operate, and that's how they have been doing it. So this gives us a lot of clarity around DAOs for that matter. And the other thing you mentioned about contributions going into DAOs, also these are some misconceptions that I have personally heard as well.